Welcome everybody. Thank you for clicking this video and tuning in. Today I have a very special guest that had a tremendous impact on my business in real estate and getting started. And today I'm going to be interviewing him and asking questions on what he has seen over the years of being in the mortgage lending business, on what successful realtors have done that have increased quality leads and increased your closings. And as a whole, he's going to give us some tips as entrepreneurs on how we can improve our life and our business so we can live, grow, and earn more in our everyday life and business. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Sam Wax, the president of My Easy Mortgage. Sam, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So tell us what's about your business, how long you've been in the business, and the areas that you service.
So I've been doing this for about 25 years. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale. Moved here with my wife in '99 and worked for the same company that I worked for back then, opened up the west coast of Florida. And since then, I've been a mortgage banker. I'm currently a mortgage broker. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I've worked with a ton of realtors, and I've seen the most successful realtors in the country. And then I've seen the realtors that tried it out and then are now back doing something else.
Right. So you had mentioned once upon a time that you actually service Florida, Texas, and some other places. Tell me about that.
So we're licensed in Florida, licensed in Louisiana, and licensed in Texas. And we're currently pending licensing in a few other states: South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Wow. That's growing substantially. That's amazing.
We've got loan officers from each of those states, and I thought, well, why not get licensed in those states so that they can help their family, help their friends, people know.
Yeah, that's amazing. 'Cause I have family in Texas, so hopefully I can send some business your way. Hello, Texas family.
Where are they from?
So Lubbock, Dallas, and Houston.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, a little spread out. So I know one thing that sets your business different than a lot of other mortgage brokers. Tell me something that, one thing is the remodel loans. Not a lot of people actually can handle the remodel loans, and especially with the fix and flips, if you don't have that hard money cash, a remodel loan is a great option if you want to fix and live into the house. So tell me a little bit about that and any other services that make you different than the typical mortgage broker.
There's a lot. So we really do focus on the global perspective for the client. We look at when we pre-approve somebody for a FHA or VA or conventional loan, we simultaneously pre-approve them for an FHA rehab, a conventional rehab, or a VA rehab. The benefit of doing that is, as a realtor, if you're referring over multiple people, so multiple mortgage companies, clients going to get confused. And we carry most of the products that are out there. So we carry, your FHA, VA, conventional. We carry all the rehab loans. We also do reverse mortgages for a very small percentage of the population where it makes sense. We do some other subprime. I think I'm still allowed to use that term. We do some of the non-QM subprime loans where I'll give you a great example. I've got a client right now who makes great money, but he writes everything off. And he's gone to every bank and credit union in the area, and he's buying a $900,000 house, and he's trying to put down 20%, and none of the banks in the area will do the loan for him because he writes everything off. And he still owns a property. He still owns another property. So we are using 24 months worth of business bank statements as proof of his income. We're able to use roughly 30 to 40% of his deposits towards his income, which is overkill. He's going to wind up qualifying based on that significantly. Now, the trade-off is, does he wind up with a higher interest rate? Yeah, he's going to wind up with something in the high 5s, low 6s. But he didn't have to show an additional $200,000 to Uncle Sam that he legally was able to write off. So which one would you rather have? A super low interest rate, or would you rather keep $200,000 in your pocket?
Yes.
So such a no-brainer. But we do those type of loans. We work with people that are credit challenged. You know, that not everybody's had circumstances that are beyond their control. Some are within their control, but you know, that just takes time. But we work with those folks as well. And when we're not the right lender, this is probably our biggest differentiator, if that's the right word. Biggest difference between us and someone else is I don't mind punting. If I know I don't have the right product, if I know that somebody else has a much better interest rate, or they can do the program a little bit better, or it's an easier closing, I have no problem at all referring them out as long as their realtor is okay with it. Because at the end of the day, it's all name and reputation. I'd rather help a client get to the right place and be that guy that I know a guy. I'd rather be the I know a guy than the guy.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, those two products are huge. That alone, just the story you told us, that's a phenomenal outcome. That's well done. Well done.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to jump into the more related or real estate related questions. So my first question is, what are 3 things that you have seen every successful realtor that you have worked with or just seen? What have they done that has generated more qualified leads and closings?
Okay, so let's see if I can condense it into 3. First one is consistency. Doing the same thing every single week, consistent, that's the biggest thing. So realtor meets an HR person at a hospital, and the HR person says, yeah, I might be interested in referring people that are going to be moving to the hospital to you. But instead of going to the next HR person the following week at another hospital, they rest on their laurels. They say, yes, I won. And they don't consistently try to get that next referral source. Happens in the mortgage industry all the time. I'll have a mortgage person that works with me who will close, and he'll make a $30,000 commission in a month. And they're so focused on what am I going to do with my $30,000, or so focused on not letting my processing team take amazing care of the client, that they forget, well, I need to go hunt. Like, I need to go plant some seeds. I need to go hunt. I need to find that next client. And the same thing happens for real estate, is you might have 2 or 3 or 5 transactions going, but your work now starts. You've got to service those clients, but at the same time, you have to continue to find new clients and for your following month. This isn't a residual business like I spoke to a financial advisor yesterday, and Jeffrey made the comment that, you know, he always gets into the next month knowing that he's going to have X amount of income coming in. I say, yeah, it doesn't work that way in my industry. Like, what did you do last month, and what have you done for me lately? And you have to go ahead and find that, who is that next person? So consistency, who is that next person that I can help? And that would be probably number 1, would be consistency. Number 2 would be, really good realtors create a spider web, meaning that they go to everyone that they know and they don't ask them for business directly, but they ask, who do you know? So they'll ask, as an example, Lindsey, I am looking to grow my business. I could use your help. Who do you love as a CPA? Tax season is coming up. Who do you love for your accountant? Who does your taxes? And that could be a potential referral source for you. And then when they say, I know so-and-so, then you say, would you mind making a warm introduction to that person for me? And then you're creating a spider web at that point of the people that are within your sphere of influence are then introducing you to their sphere of influence. What I noticed about realtors and clients that use realtors, which they should always use a realtor. I'm a big proponent of that. For sale by owners are not the way to go, but that's a whole different story. We'll talk about that another time. The worst thing that a realtor can do is, or that a client can do is, oh, wow, I saw somebody online, so that's who I'm going to use. There's no vetting process. So you don't know if you're getting the realtor who did one transaction their entire 12-year career, or are they actually good at what they do? Are they a good negotiator? Are they detail oriented? Are they somebody that you're going to want to work with? It's a marriage. At the end of the day, you've got, you have a client. I mean, we've had clients that haven't found a home in 6 months. Those are very picky people. It happens. But if you haven't found a home in 6 months, you'd want to make sure that that realtor was the good fit because you're married to that person for 6 months. So I would say that creating that spider web to increase your sphere of influence. So here's your sphere of influence. How do we increase it? It's by asking your immediate sphere, who do they know? You want to concentrate on your CPAs. You want to concentrate on your, do they know somebody who's an HR professional at a hospital? Do they know somebody who's an HR professional at whatever company? Who do you know who's an HR professional? Who do you know who is what's another good example? A financial advisor. Who do you know who are, so if you take a look at your BNI contacts, your BNI is a social networking group, and there's a list of X amount of occupations. You'd be very surprised. Some of my best referral sources are people that I've done this with that are commercial bankers. Commercial bankers refer me business all the time. I don't have a ton to refer to them because we don't really do anything commercially, but they know that we're fair, we're honest, we get stuff done quickly, and we know that their clients are going to be happy with us at the end of the day.
Very true. You've referred me out to Tampa, Bank of Tampa.
Yes.
Oh. Jen, who's wonderful. Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah, Jen's amazing.
So,
Jenny,
say again?
What would be your number 3rd?
Let's see. So another really good one would be pay attention to who you are personally, and then market towards those things online, and find those people that have like minds. Great example. You have a Jeep, and you go to Jeep clubs, and you do the Jeep traversing of rocks, rock climbing with your Jeep, and you're a member of all these different clubs. Well, people want to hear about these things online. They want to hear about, and then they're going to decide whether or not they want to use you, not because you have your real estate license, but because they see whether or not you're a like-minded individual, whether or not are you a family person? Are you somebody that they can relate to? Are you, my sister's a vegetarian. Are you a vegetarian? Are you, what are you promoting yourself as, so that people can figure out whether or not they like you? Are you relatable? Things like that.
My fluffy baby barking. Sorry about that.
I thought you were going to bring out some kind of vegetarian thing.
No, not today. So my next question is geared toward new agents or agents that are getting back into the business. What is the one most powerful thing that they should be focused on just to get started?
Building up their CRM, figuring out who are they going to contact, and then making X amount of phone calls per day. And back to number 1 that we talked about before, consistency. So how are they going to, can I give you a 1A?
Yeah.
1A would be when somebody calls them or somebody calls them back or whatever, listen to their own voicemail. Take a look at their signature line on their email. Take a look at what their LinkedIn, a couple great examples. Realtor is trying to get back in the business, and somebody goes ahead and they just look them up. But what's one of the first things that comes up in the search engines? LinkedIn. So LinkedIn says they are currently bartending at XYZ bar. Are they really a serious realtor at that point? You want to make sure that your stuff is all up to date. But also, I call realtors all the time on contracts that I receive where I'm thinking, okay, this is somebody I'm sure this is probably a professional, and I either get the yo, what's up, hit me back, or leave a message. Like, if you're using it for business, that cell phone should probably be a little bit, maybe something a little bit different. Also, you do want to set yourself apart, but at the same time, kind of make it professional.
Right. Yeah.
On the other side, on the flip side, is if all I get is you've reached 727-542-9999. What am I calling? Who am I calling? What am I calling? Every single time that somebody calls your cell phone, calls your number, it's an advertising opportunity. It's a marketing opportunity. So that would probably be my 1A as kind of a caveat, is when somebody's having, how's your communication look?
Great example. And legally, realtors are supposed to put their brokerage name on their voicemail.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're supposed to answer your phone, eXp Realty, this is Lindsey speaking. And if you don't say your brokerage, they can come and fine you. I usually say this is Lindsey speaking, which is against code. But on my voicemail, I do have eXp Realty because that is my business. I'm 100% committed to that.
I had a friend of mine. So I have a friend of mine who he just left a big bank. And he asked me the question a few years ago. He says, what did he say? He said, how do you balance your life / work? He says, you do that so well.
Tell us, Sam, how do you?
Look, at the end of the day, I got to feed my family. I got a 19-year-old at Boston University. I got a 4 and a 6-year-old, and I got a 3-month-old as of this video. I got to feed them. I've got to make sure that taking a phone call at 9 or 10 o'clock at night is a blessing in my opinion, because I'm also in an industry where if it's at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I can go for a run. I can't do that with a regular job. This morning I had Jakey on my desk, my 3-month-old, for 3 hours while I did paperwork and instant messaged different people and texted with different people. I can't do that at a regular job. Doesn't matter if I'm working from home or not. I am truly blessed to be in the position that I'm in. So there is a work-life balance. It's what you make of it. Like the old days where you worked a 9 to 5 if you truly enjoy what you're doing, traveling and things like that, when we get back to that time in history where we're able to travel, you can take off time. You can do those type of things, and the money doesn't hurt either. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm helping people, but work-life balance is true.
So what are some methods that you have implemented in your business that has generated quality leads?
So a few things. And I'll also tell you what other loan officers I have. as of this video, I think I have 15 licensed loan officers who work for my brokerage or work with my brokerage. That's a better way to put it. Facebook marketing can generate some leads every once in a while. But you have to specifically target who you want. If I put out there that I am looking for clients that have 400 credit score, well, it's 500 credit scores, I'm going to get plenty of clients that have 500 credit scores, and my credit reporting bill is going to be massive. And very few of those people have consistency and most likely are currently going through issues. And if I wanted to build up my business doing just that, it would be a hard life to lead. We don't discriminate based on credit scores, but it's just more difficult to get somebody approved with a 500. But you get what you ask for. So if you ask for business, if you ask for your certain specific targets, then you'll hit them. So to give you an example, the conventional home style renovation loan, which is Lindsey finds him a home and it has a hole in the roof and it has both air conditioners are gone, and maybe it's too small right now. Maybe they want to add some square footage. We can roll all of that into the cost of the loan. So you'll have an acquisition cost of the property plus all the rehab, and then the down payment is based on a combination of the two things. Well, what's interesting is very few people actually take those loans out. Most of those people will they'll figure out a way to get into the property without taking that loan out. Doesn't mean that I can't market for it. And I market for it, and a lot of the people that come to me just wind up as regular old purchases. So you have to market for something that does set you apart. If I did, talking about marketing, I was talking about marketing yesterday. Good friend of mine about long tail keywords on Google. Long tail keywords are Wesley Chapel reverse mortgage specialist, where you're stretching out what the search engine is going to ask for. The issue with that is I'm competing with so many companies that are willing to pay big money and pass it on to the consumer for those leads. So your big banks, your Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Quicken, they're willing to spend a lot of money, and then they pass it on to the consumer for leads like that. It's really just not the way my business is generated. Facebook ads are still very inexpensive. Instagram ads I'm not sold on yet. We did some with Snapchat, wasn't very successful. I'm a fan of LinkedIn. Again, LinkedIn, very inexpensive. You can target HR professionals. You could target people that are moving. You could target, if you're here in Florida, you could target, hey, do you live in a state that you really want to move out of, that has tax issues like California, or where the weather's not pleasant throughout the year in New York or New Jersey? You could target things like that through Facebook, which is cool too. So I think your social media stuff would probably be number one. Number two goes back to your spider web and asking the people that you know that are in your sphere of who's in their sphere that they could make a warm introduction to. I think that's just guerrilla marketing, which incidentally is a book that I would recommend. Guerrilla Marketing is a fantastic book. It's a little dated. It's probably 30 years old at this point, but it'll give you some good ideas as well. The third is I would create your own networking group. So the days of your referral groups, like your BNI and groups like that, where you have to get together with a bunch of people, you don't really have to do that as much these days. And everybody's looking for business. They're looking for introductions for, great example, somebody yesterday who's a good meal prep company on Facebook. Well, I'm sure that the owner of the meal prep company would love to be part of your networking group that gets together on Zoom once a week. And no cost to join. You just vet who's reputable and who's not. And very, very easy way to do it. And none of these things are very expensive, so you can get started on a shoestring.
Great advice. My next question is something that I struggled with getting started into real estate because I really didn't have any guidance until I joined eXp Realty. And then the support team I had, which actually spiderwebbed and introduced me to you. And that's how my business was actually turning and actually closing. Working with a lender is everything for a realtor to be successful. I started off not working with a great realtor and working with a horrible lender, and deals were just dying. So I am so thankful that Melissa McNeil, my coach, was able to spiderweb and connect me to you. And the other day when I referred one of my clients to you, and I heard your pre-qualification speech, and I was like, you know what, this would make really great content to teach realtors, like, how do you vet somebody that messages you on Facebook, hey, I'm interested in buying a house? What does that conversation look like? How do you start that? Give us an example.
So first thing's always building rapport, and the best way to build rapport is figuring out what do they want. The best loan officers in the country are amazing order takers. Like, they just know how to listen. People say what they want to do, and what they're really looking for is somebody who can get them from point A to point B. And that's a good start, is always figuring out what do they want to do. The worst thing you can do is somebody says, yeah, I want to buy a $300,000 house. And then right off the bat, I'm rolling into, let me tell you about, you could put down 5% going conventional, and our interest rates are blank. Interest rates are a buying question, and people usually start off that question of what are interest rates because they don't know what else to start off with. It's kind of like asking you, Lindsey, what's your fee? Well, I don't even know if Lindsey is the right person I do, but the client doesn't know if Lindsey is the right person to find them the home. Does she market in that area? Does she know the area? Does she know what's within her sphere of influence of contractors and people like that? So initially, the initial conversation starts off with, what do you want? What do you want to find? What area do you want? I'm probably asking some of the same questions that you are, which isn't a bad thing, because I'm asking, how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you want? Because that gets the person thinking, okay, I really could narrow this down. So instead of them coming to the realtor and saying, yes, I'm looking for a property somewhere on the west coast of Florida that has some bedrooms, some bathrooms, it could potentially have a garage, and yeah. And then you're like, all right, how do we narrow this down? How do we narrow your focus? And I look at that partly as my job to help you. So I'll ask them, what do they want? That's part one. Part two is I explain to them there's 4 things that go into buying a home: income, assets, credit, and collateral. So collateral is the easy part. That's the house. But I need to know that, because if they come to me and through the conversation, I find out that their credit's not that great, or their debt ratio is going to be an issue, and or they want to go VA, I'm probably going to steer them away from buying a condo, because most condos can't go VA and most can't go FHA. So I want to kind of let them know single family is probably going to be the way to go. And then we talk about their income, talk about their credit, talk about their assets. It's different than if they just go onto a website. A really good buddy of mine works over at a credit union, and he says, yeah, just go to my website and fill out an application. I want to have that preliminary conversation with the client to help them get some ideas of, well, is this going to work? Which way should I be going? and maybe it's a process of elimination.
So more on to entrepreneur related and in your industry as well. Morning rituals that have helped you stay motivated, especially in such a distracting time that we are in currently. What type of morning rituals have you implemented that has created great success?
Consistency. Oh my God. So with the 3-month-old, it's not always consistent, but we try. We really do. In the morning, always a glass of water in the morning when I first wake up. Your body's dehydrated, get that over with. Then depending on the mood, it's either a cup of coffee within the next half hour or so, or sometimes I'll do a superfood smoothie that I did this morning. My stomach's still gurgling from it, but it's usually pretty effective. And then if I don't have my 3-month-old, it's out for a walk or it's out for a bike ride, clear my head, or going through and reading a book. Just got to get your mind activated. Try to stay off email. Although sometimes I get emails from Lindsey at like 1, 2 in the morning, and then she'll get a response at like 5 in the morning because I woke up and anyway.
Well, you read this at 3 o'clock in the morning? You weren't supposed to.
So right now I'm working on, this was recommended by a buddy of mine who is, one of the smartest guys I know. A little conspiracy theory, but history will tell you what's happened in the past usually will happen in the future. And so it's interesting. I'm only a chapter into it, but I feel a little bit less out of control in such an uncontrolled environment that we currently live in. I don't leave my house. Shipped comes in, delivers food. I go into the office probably once or twice a week. I'm there for 15, 20 minutes and I leave. I go to see my 19-year-old at the other house. And then that's basically, so having a good, consistent morning ritual or ritual just during the day is so important. Throughout the day, they're only 8 pounds, but if you do enough of them, it actually works.
Yeah.
And aside from that, just trying to watch diet is so tough right now. But anyway, that's not what you asked me.
No, it is. It's morning ritual. So it's clearing your mind so you can be more focused. And especially now, it's just like what you were saying is to not feel like you have to be in control. In that book, The Great Influenza, to be in control, but not, what you said it better than I did. But that I think is really powerful right now because the world is a bit crazy and you go on social media and it can just kind of change your mood. So having morning rituals to get away from the drama is great for our success and for our own health.
Feeding your brain in the morning, feeding your brain, so important. Two things that I see that both work. It depends on who you are as a realtor. You're going to make X amount of calls per day. Write them down. Either write them down first thing in the morning of these are all the people I want to reach, or if you're like me and you want to get a good night's sleep, write them down before you go to bed. And these are all the people that I'm going to contact tomorrow. And I may even write down a time that works best. So I know certain realtors are up and running early, like 7, 8 in the morning. I may send them a text saying, hey, you got a quick second, just to see if they might be out for a walk and they may want to talk, just to kind of, what's your plan for the week? Here's some ideas for you. Here's some people I want to introduce you to, things like that.
Yeah. So I know that you have a great follow-up system already in place. So tell us a little bit about the system that you have in place. Do you outsource any of your calls or any of your emails? Do you have an assistant to help you with that? And then what is the percentage of call versus text? And this is to your clients or customers.
Wow, that's a lot.
CRM, what's your follow-up schedule?
So CRM, we use a mortgage software to email. I get emails in the morning, follow up with this, and this, and then I just know that those are some of the calls that I have to make. So that's actually the easy part. What was the next part?
So the next part is, let's say you have a client and they have bad credit in month January. Well, you put them in the system to follow back up with them. And how long? How long do you follow up? And then what's your percentage? Do you call them or do you text? Like, what's your method on that?
It depends on them. I usually ask people up front, what's your preferred method of contact? Do you prefer email? Do you prefer calls? What do you prefer? And some people will say, yeah, please just text me. Like, I just don't blow up my phone. The issue that I seem to run into, and something to really think about, is if all they do is text, you're going to wind up so far down in their text messaging that they're going to forget about you. If all they do is email, same thing with Facebook Messenger. So every once in a while, and I'm just brainstorming here, but every once in a while, I probably should take them out of their own comfort zone. And even if they say, yes, I want to do texting, only text, I probably do want to pick up the phone once in a while, so that I'm still top of mind. So I'm looking at my phone right now and on text, and I'm into probably 100 texts since this weekend of different people. So I guess I text a lot. I had no idea how much I texted, but I probably text more than I should, and I probably should be doing other things besides texting.
It depends. Sometimes it's valuable.
We're all learning. I mean, I've got some great ideas, and I try to share them, but we come up with things like that. Like, wait a second, you get lost in Facebook Messenger, you get lost in emails. Right. I've got emails. I was doing a search, and I saw, I saw, oh my God, I haven't talked to that person in 2 years. Why have I not talked to that person in 2 years? Because I sorted their email into a folder, and then that was it. And there wasn't that constant communication that should happen.
So when you get a new lead, do you instantly put them in your CRM, or do you have an assistant do that, or do you have a day per week that you enter in all the new contacts?
I try to do it on my own. Let's see, what can I show you? What can I not show you on this? Bear with me 1 second. There we go.
Baby.
Yeah. So I've got 4 monitors. I've got one for instant message, and I use in order to make calls, I've got a wireless headset, and I'm plugged into Ring Central. And then I've got typically rate sheets and different lender stuff up here. We were just talking about what book. We'll talk about that, I guess, later. And then here I might have my E-Trade account going on this one. And then I have my loan operating system, which is also attached to our CRM. I'll have it on this one. It makes it easier when you have extra screens to easily add people in. It doesn't take that long.
Good. Yeah. So on to the book. What is the book that changed your life and business the most? Earlier, you had mentioned guerrilla marketing, and then you had also mentioned The Great Influenza. But what has been the book that has been the most powerful impact on your life and business?
So a couple. One other one came to mind. I know we talked about this before we started, but The Winner Within, Pat Riley. Pat Riley used to be the coach for the Lakers. He's now the general manager for the Miami Heat. And I'm a big basketball guy, and he talks about change. He talks about life is all about change. And Lindsey, personally, I've had change in my life that hopefully nobody ever has to go through. But how we adapt to change is how successful we wind up becoming in life. And that's the main focus of the book. That's the main takeaway that I got. It's a great book. I think it's like $3 on Amazon. It's old. It's 30 some years old.
Classics.
And then How to Win Friends and Influence People. I always forget. If you get the audio, I still have the CDs.
What are CDs? Just kidding.
It's how to the CDs. It's an older guy who's talking about it, and it's just an amazing. Hey, look! If you do these things, you will become a better person, a better salesperson, a better in your relationship. A lot of it's amazing. Like if you're not familiar with it, absolutely How to Win Friends, Influence People. And then the other one is I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell. So Malcolm Gladwell wrote The Tipping Point, What the Dog Saw, he gives you ideas. I love the psychology of selling. I love the psychology of what makes people tick. And I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell. If you have a chance to, he talks about examples. He'll talk about what does it take for the 10,000 hour rule. If you do something for 10,000 hours, you will become an absolute expert at it. Like the Beatles, uses them as an example. Another example is an airplane. For an airplane to crash, so many things have to go wrong. And he takes you through all of those, and it's mostly people related when things like that happen. Just very interesting stuff. Those would be I gave you more than one, but those would be the ones that I would totally do. A new realtor, if you're looking for something that's entertaining, do Malcolm Gladwell, do The Tipping Point. And if you're looking for some sales advice and how to get a little bit better from a selling perspective, then How to Win Friends, Influence People. If you're looking for something that's going to help you get moved to the next part of your life, then The Winner Within or Who Moved My Cheese is another good one. So I have all these on CD. So if you still have a CD player, I'd be glad to lend them to you.
I think my truck may have a CD player. My computer doesn't. I don't have a DVD player. You know, those are classics. Keep those. They may be worth money. Who knows? Okay, now coming toward the end, is there anything that you need, or that perhaps my audience or myself can connect you to? It could be any vendors, famous people, or employees or assistants.
Thank you for the offer. I'm always looking to meet other bankers. Okay. When they see what kind of system that we have going on within the company, and how we pay, and what lenders we have access to, and all the products that we have, a lot of times they'll take a look and say, wow, this is an opportunity you should take a look at. If they don't, and they're happy with where they are, like my friends over at the credit union, or a couple of different credit unions, we may become great referral partners. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody who says, hey, I want to do a $1.5 million loan. And I would love to say that I was the guy for that, but in some cases I'm not. And then I wind up referring it over to my buddy Matt that I've introduced you to, or Jay, or one of those guys. Or if the loan amount is too small, and they may wind up having a product for that. I get referrals from 5 or 6 local community banks as well. And we all punt to each other. You know, when they know that they're not the right place or they don't have the right product, they'll call me up. And then they sometimes call me up and say, hey, look, I'm trying to structure this way. What do I do? And then just based on, years of experience, they'll say, well, did you consider this? And so they're able to keep the deal in-house and still make a commission on it, which is good.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking to meet new realtors. I'm always looking to meet new people. We've got a fairly small company, and family-based. I have people that I know I can rely on, and I'm always looking to add to that group.
Good. So I wanted to thank you for your time for this video. You have literally made a tremendous impact on my business. Just having somebody that was reliable, knowledgeable, easy to talk to on not even just business, a friend, relationship. It kind of changed my perspective on real estate, because originally I was like, man, this is hard, it's not working out, but it's all about the connections and the resources. And I think it's very powerful to have a good lender, you, Sam Wax at My Easy Mortgage, a good vendor list, which is part of your sphere, and spreading out and getting good vendors so you can refer to other people. And that's just it. And it's living your authentic self. And that is part of my journey, is figuring out what I love that I can help other people that love that same thing as well. So if somebody, any bankers or any other realtors want to work with a phenomenal person like yourself, how can they get a hold of you?
They can always call me, email me, Facebook message me, go to my website, myeasymortgage.com, go to my LinkedIn page, go to my Zillow reviews. I've got to make sure that we're covered through everywhere. We have our Instagram, we have our Snapchat, we have our, I even have a TikTok channel. Started doing TikToks the other day.
You did? Do you have some on there with you?
I do. There's a total of 4. I did the wipe it down thing.
Is it on My Easy Mortgage as the handler, or is it Sam Wax?
It's the real Sam Wax.
Real Sam Wax. Okay, now that is just for not TikTok, but
that's
Snap.
TikTok.
Oh,
that's just TikTok, yeah. But anyway, but if you just Facebook message me or text me, my cell phone's 813-505-7830, and I never have my calls screened. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody.
That's true. All right, anytime too. Just don't call him, be nice, Don't call him at 2:00 in the morning. He's got a baby.
Yeah. Well, I might be nursing though. You never know.
Nursing, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all this valuable information, and I look forward to doing business with you years to come.
Thanks, Lindsey. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
We'll talk soon. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Not COVID.
That's funny. It's horrible that we have to say that now. It's like we sneeze, not COVID.
Not COVID.
It's like, please don't sneeze in the grocery store. Please don't sneeze. That's great.
I got the tickle, but I can't. No, don't do anything about it. Yeah.